Chapter 1, Preparations. The skies were bright, and Rainbow Dash was catching a morning nap as usual. Pinkie could remember her friends' birthdays like the back of her hoof. She is a party pony after all, so it's her job to remember and throw birthday parties for her friends. She had party hats, poppers, decoration, but something was missing. A cake. Pinkie shouted with glee, as she trotted happily to the kitchen, where an array of kitchen items was spread on the counter. She grabbed a rolling pin, a bowl and cake mix and started to mix, as the mix started to take the form of a big birthday cake. Soon, the cake was placed inside the oven left for a couple of minutes. Buzz. The sound of the timer rang throughout the kitchen and Pinkie knew what that means. Cake is ready, she said with a gleeful tone, as she held the baking tray with both hoofs. All that was left was for icing and decoration. As Pinkie drew Rainbow's cutie mark in icing before adding candles, it was perfect. Rainbow Dash was sure to be in awe of Pinkie's artistic talent. As a final inspection was taken, and the cake was placed in the middle of a long table filled with rows of sweet pastries and apple-tastic treats baked by the Apple family. Only an hour to go before the party, and Pinkie couldn't stop bouncing with happiness that Rainbow Dash was going to have the best day ever. Nothing could go wrong from here, could it? Chapter 2, Party. It wasn't long now, soon Rainbow would trot through those doors and see the work that went into her big party. This wouldn't be the case. The ponies piled through the door as they gathered around the buffet and started dancing wildly on the dance floor. Even the majestic Princess Celestia attended. It wasn't long until the rainbow-maned Pegasus trotted through those doors, and she looked happy to see everyone. Pinkie was skeptical though. She could tell something was wrong but couldn't figure out what. It was like her Pinkie senses could sense something. Maybe it was nothing, but rational thinking couldn't deter her increasing concern for her friend. The party went on for another hour, but Pinkie couldn't shake off the feeling. She wanted, she urged to ask Rainbow Dash, but she knew she would mask it and say, "I'm fine." It felt pointless to try. She tried to look for a distraction. A balloon. Pinkie said happily as she grabbed the balloon with her hoof. Pinkie walked over to Rainbow Dash. A balloon held in her hoof. "Hey Dashy. Having a fun time?" The rainbow-maned Pegasus looked at Pinkie with a smile, clearly a mask to cover her true emotions. Unable to get answers, Pinkie just carried on partying, hoping to get Rainbow alone during the after-party. But that never happened. Chapter 3, Concern. Pinkie grew more concerned as time went on, and still no communication from Rainbow Dash. She figured maybe Rainbow fell under the weather, but surely, she wouldn't go a whole week without any communication. Pinkie knew Rainbow Dash for years, and she knew that this was not normal behavior for her. She hopped all the way to Twilight's treehouse, passing ponies along the way. As she arrived at the Alicorn's treehouse, she knocked and said loudly, "Twilight. I need to talk." Twilight opened the door, Spike behind the Alicorn, stuffing his face with gems. "I know, Rainbow Dash hasn't been around for a week and you're super worried about your bestie, am I right?" Pinkie looks surprised. "Are you psychic? Just a hunch," the Alicorn replied. Pinkie and Twilight looked through every book that could possibly have answers to Rainbow's absence. "Nothing in here," Twilight said, tired from skimming through book after book. It felt like forever, until Pinkie had an idea. "If books don't have the answer, maybe the answer is in front of us." "What do you mean, Pinkie?" Twilight replied confused. "Duh. She's hiding from us, and we need to find her." Twilight looked at Pinkie, accepting this explanation, although she was skeptical. Chapter 4, Search. Concerned, Pinkie and Twilight gathered the others. Rarity, Applejack, and Fluttershy all gathered round for a meeting. "Now I know we're all worried about Rainbow Dash, but we must stick together if we are to find her," Twilight explained calmly to the group. She can't have gone far. I think we should search the barn," said Applejack, hoping the others agree. "Right. Barn first," Twilight said as they all trotted off to find Rainbow, Pinkie hopping along as she always did. They approached the barn. Granny Smith and Big Mac were stood in the front waiting. "Granny Smith? Big Mac? Why are you just standing around?" Applejack asked, confused by the sight. "We could smell a strong odor coming from the barn, smells like something rotting," Granny Smith explained to the farm pony. "Yup," Big Mac said with few words as always. The group all decided to explore the barn, Granny Smith and Big Mac not far behind. The smell got stronger the more they moved in. Soon the odor was so strong, it was inescapable. Whf! Applejack gasped at the sight. It looked something, or some pony. It was hanging from a rope in the ceiling. They looked closer and could see a rainbow-colored mane. "Rainbow!" Applejack said in a shocked tone, so shocked she couldn't move. "Bring it down," Twilight commanded Applejack, as she grabbed her shovel, using it to cut the rope. The body of the once-alive rainbow-maned Pegasus fell to the floor with a thud. The group gathered around the dead Pegasus that was once their friend. Pinkie, sobbing slightly. Rainbow was Pinkie's best friend and prankster, and now she's gone, forever. Chapter 5, Breakdown. It was a week since Rainbow's passing away. Pinkie was baking cakes, but she wasn't her cheerful self. All her friends had been through the process of mourning, but not Pinkie. Every day and night, Pinkie thought about what it would be like to be up there, living in some afterlife with Rainbow. She started wearing long-sleeve jumpers, covering her many scars she had made in her wrist. "Oh my! Still wearing those jumpers?" Rarity said, not surprised by this point. Rarity had asked Pinkie if she would like to model some jumpers, but Pinkie declined every time, not wanted to reveal her scars. "You know, Pinkie Pie, you really would make a lovely model. Can't you at least give it a try?" Pinkie turned to Rarity, shook her head and turned back to her mixing. "I can't help but feel you're becoming more and more distant. You can tell us, we won't judge," Pinkie said in an upset tone. "I'm fine. I just need some time alone." Feeling defeated, Rarity just walked out and trotted gracefully to Twilight's treehouse. Rarity couldn't help thinking that Pinkie is hiding something she doesn't want anyone to know. She started theorizing what Pinkie was hiding. Perhaps Pinkie drove Rainbow to commit suicide. No, Pinkie would never do that. They were so close. She could. "Rarity, are you alright?" Twilight said with concern for the pure white unicorn. She had stood there for 5 minutes in her own thoughts. "Oh, sorry darling, it's about Pinkie Pie," she explained to the librarian. "You know, I have noticed Pinkie has been quite distant since Rainbow passed. Maybe the loss of her best friend really affected her," Twilight assumed. "Maybe she feels guilt, that it was her own fault that Rainbow hung herself," Rarity replied, again assuming. They theorized on what could be troubling Pinkie, but still no solid conclusions or answers, even in Twilight's book in mental health and psychology. But that wasn't the worst of it. The truth was far worse than they could imagine. Planning an intervention for their once cheerful friend, Twilight, Rarity, Fluttershy, and Applejack went over to Sugarcube Corner to find Pinkie. "Pinkie Pie, are you in there?" Twilight shouted out. Silence. "Pinkie Pie, we just want to help," Twilight shouted again. Silence. They came to a back room, Pinkie Pie's bedroom, but no sounds could be heard through the peephole. Applejack attempted to open the door, but it was locked. "That does it," Applejack said angrily, as she bucked the door with her back hooves. After a 7th buck, the door swung open, revealing a sorrowful pink pony. "What are yo?" Applejack looked shocked at the sight, several fresh slits in the pony's wrist, still dripping with fresh blood. Worried for her safety, Twilight searched the room and found freshly sharpened blades in the drawer. "I'll go get help. You keep an eye on Pinky, make sure she doesn't go anywhere," Twilight said, rushing out the door and running to the hospital. Chapter 6, Hospitalist. Pinky lay there in the bed, restraints restricting her movement. She lay there in the abyss, mentally counting the days to her inevitable death. She couldn't speak, move, eat, or anything for that matter. Her fresh wounds tended to, she was completely unresponsive. The nurses gave up feeding her, and just put her on a drip feeder. She dreamed of one day leaving this world, and seeing her long-lost friend in the afterlife, but for now, she could only hope death come take her away. Take away the pain, remorse, and guilt she held so close to her chest. Hello my good listeners, it's Morbid Fox. I would like to say a huge thank you for listening to my content. I would love it even more if you could share my content with your friends and family, and don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and curse that subscribe button. Remember, Morbid Fox is with you, always watching.